The courtroom was quiet. Many people were there to watch. Sean Diddy Combs, a famous music person, sat at a table. He's accused of very serious things. The trial started and everyone wanted to know what would happen. This case is very important. It talks about power and how people can be treated. Many news reporters were there. They wanted to tell the world about the trial. The things said in court would be heard by many people. It is a big moment for everyone involved in the case. The charges against Mr. Combs are very serious. They include racketeering conspiracy. This means working with others to do illegal things. He is also accused of sex trafficking. This means forcing someone to do sexual things. Another charge is transportation to engage in prostitution. These are big words for very bad actions. Mr. Combs has said he did not do these things. He has pleaded not guilty. If the court finds him guilty, he could be in prison for a very long time. This makes the trial even more important for him and for the people who say he hurt them. The trial is expected to last for many weeks. Many people will come to speak. Some will speak against Mr. Combs. They will tell their stories. Some people might speak for him. The lawyers for both sides will ask many questions. They will try to show that their side is telling the truth. The judge will make sure everyone follows the rules of the court. The jury, a group of regular people, will listen to everything. Then they will decide if Mr. Combs is guilty or not guilty. This is a very big job for the jury. As the trial began, the city of New York seemed to hold its breath. Mr. Combs has been a big name in music and business for many years. Many people know his songs and his work. The stories coming from the trial are shocking to many. They paint a picture that is very different from his public image. This trial is not just about one person. It is also about how the music world works. It makes people think about fame and how it can be used. Everyone is waiting to see how this story will end. One of the first people to speak against Mr. Combs was a woman named Mia. She worked for Mr. Combs for some time. Mia was on the stand for 3 days. This means she sat in the witness chair and answered questions for 3 long days. She told the court about many bad things she said Mr. Combs did to her. She said he hurt her with his hands and with his words. She also said he made her do sexual things she did not want to do. Mia said these things were very hard to talk about.
I decided to speak because I wanted to help my niece and my goddaughters in the future. I felt it was important to share my story. I hoped it would make a difference.
During her time speaking, Mia seemed very emotional. Telling these stories in front of so many people can be very difficult. She talked about feeling controlled by Mr. Combs for a long time. She explained that this control made it hard for her to leave or to speak out sooner than she did.
I sent messages to Mr. Combs after I stopped working for him. These messages were sent in 2018, 2020, and 2022. They seemed loving and supportive. I was still under his psychological grip. I felt brainwashed, scared, and confused even after leaving.
Mia also said that she did not tell police investigators about the sexual assaults at first. She also did not tell federal prosecutors right away. She did not have any letters or messages from that time that talked about the assaults. The defense lawyers tried to use this to show that maybe her story was not true.
I do not want to sue Mr. Combs for money because of my testimony. Money is not my reason for speaking.
This part of the trial showed how complicated these situations can be for everyone. Another person who spoke against Mr. Combs was a woman known as Jane. This was not her real name, it was used to protect her. Jane started to tell her story on the second day of the trial. She said Mr. Combs made her do things called freak-offs.
These involved male escorts. I felt I had to do these things because Mr. Combs paid my rent. I felt I owed him.
Jane described these freak-offs in detail. She said they would last for a very long time, sometimes 24 to 30 hours. That is more than a whole day. She said drugs were used during these times. She also talked about specific sexual acts that Mr. Combs liked. These details were very hard for people in the courtroom to hear. Jane's voice sometimes shook as she spoke. She appeared very nervous, but continued to answer the questions.
I thought about making an OnlyFans account. Mr. Combs did not want me to do this. Instead, he offered to pay my rent. He called this a love contract. This contract made me feel like I had to do what he wanted.
The prosecution used this story to show how Mr. Combs controlled the people around him, especially women, using money and promises. In the days that followed, Jane continued to speak. She talked more about her relationship with Mr. Combs. She said they went on trips together. They went to places like Miami, Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas. She said they used drugs on these trips.
After each trip, Mr. Combs would give me $10,000. This money made me feel even more trapped. I felt I could not say no to him.
Jane was expected to keep testifying, telling more about her experiences with Mr. Combs and his world. Her story added to the picture of alleged control. Brianna Bongolan was another woman who accused Mr. Combs. She testified that Mr. Combs committed sexual battery against her. Sexual battery means touching someone in a sexual way without their permission. Brianna told the court about a very scary moment.
Mr. Combs dangled me over a balcony. He also threw me onto furniture.
These actions, if true, show a lot of violence. Brianna's testimony added more serious claims against Mr. Combs. She bravely shared her experiences in front of everyone. Before Brianna testified, she asked for immunity. Immunity means that she cannot be charged with a crime for things she says in court. This is sometimes given to witnesses who might have also been involved in some illegal activities, even if they were forced. The defense lawyers for Mr. Combs questioned Brianna very hard. They pointed out that she continued to see Mr. Combs and talk to him even after she said he assaulted her. The defense tried to make it seem like her story was not believable because of this continued contact. This is a common tactic used by defense teams. Cassie Ventura also provided testimony about her time with Mr. Combs. Her claims were very shocking. She talked about sex, violence, and drug use. She said these things happened because of Mr. Combs. Cassie described the freak-offs too, similar to what Jane had said. These stories painted a dark picture of life with Mr. Combs. Her words were very strong and had a big impact on people listening. Jamie Foxx, a famous actor, even talked about Cassie's testimony in public later. He mentioned a very disturbing detail that Cassie shared. Cassie described how Mr. Combs controlled many parts of her life. She alleged that he made a male escort do something very demeaning to her. This specific detail was repeated by Jamie Foxx, showing how much it shocked people. The prosecution presented Cassie's testimony to show a pattern of behavior. They wanted to convince the jury that Mr. Combs regularly abused his power and hurt people he was close to. Her testimony was considered very explosive and became a major point of discussion both inside and outside the courtroom. Many people found her account deeply troubling. Section 5. Behind the scenes, staff and experts testify. It was not just alleged victims who spoke. People who worked in places Mr. Combs visited also testified.
Eddie Garcia was a security guard. He worked at the Intercontinental Hotel. Mr. Garcia told the court something very surprising. He said Mr. Combs paid $100,000 to get a video. This video showed Mr. Combs beating Cassie Ventura. After getting the video, Mr. Combs wanted it deleted. This testimony suggested that Mr. Combs tried to hide evidence of his actions. It showed he might have known his actions were wrong.
Another person who testified was Sylvia Oken. She worked at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Miss Oken talked about bills from Mr. Combs's hotel stays. She said there were extra charges on these bills. These charges were for cleaning and for damage to the rooms. This could mean that things were not calm or normal during his stays. Miss Oken also said Mr. Combs stayed at the hotel using a different name. He used the name Frank Black. This name is a reference to another famous person, Notorious Big, who was called Frank White. Hotel records showed Cassie Ventura was listed as a guest with him.
A forensic video expert named Frank Piazza also gave testimony. A forensic expert is someone who knows a lot about finding and checking evidence. Mr. Piazza looked at videos related to the case. These videos included some of the alleged assaults. He told the court that the videos were not changed or faked. He said they were not manually altered. This was important for the prosecution. It meant the jury could trust what they saw in the videos. However, the court decided that some very explicit videos like those of the freak-offs would not be shown to the public to protect privacy.
These witnesses helped to build a bigger picture for the jury. The security guard's story about the video suggested a cover-up. The hotel employee's testimony about damages and a fake name added to the idea of a hidden life. The expert's confirmation about the videos made the visual evidence stronger.
The prosecution used these testimonies to support the claims made by the women. They wanted to show that there was evidence beyond just the words of the accusers. Each piece of testimony was like a piece of a puzzle that the jury had to put together carefully.
The courtroom was often filled with tension. This means people felt nervous and stressed. Mr. Combs was present every day, listening to the testimonies against him. His behavior in the courtroom became an issue. On the second day of the trial, the judge, Arun Subramanian, had to speak to Mr. Combs. The judge told Mr. Combs to stop nodding vigorously at the jury. Nodding vigorously means moving your head up and down very strongly and quickly. The judge warned Mr. Combs that if he did it again, he could be removed from the courtroom. This was not the only time Mr. Combs was warned about his behavior. He was told several times to be careful about how he acted. It seemed he was trying to interact with the jury. The jury is supposed to listen to the evidence without any influence from the defendant. Any attempt to communicate with them, even without words, is not allowed. These warnings from the judge showed that the court was taking Mr. Combs's actions seriously. It highlighted the pressure and the high stakes of the trial for everyone involved in the proceedings. The atmosphere in the room changed depending on who was speaking. When accusers told their stories, the room was often very quiet and somber. People listened carefully to the difficult details. When lawyers argued, the mood could become more intense. The lawyers for both sides were trying very hard to convince the jury. The judge had to make sure that everything stayed fair and orderly. Courtroom dynamics, which means how people act and interact in court, are very important in a trial like this one. They can affect how the jury sees the case. Mr. Combs's reactions to the testimony were closely watched by people in the courtroom and by the media. Sometimes he looked down. Sometimes he wrote notes to his lawyers. His body language was analyzed by reporters. The judge's warning suggested that Mr. Combs was perhaps trying to send messages to the jury with his expressions or movements. This kind of behavior can be seen as trying to unfairly influence the jury's thoughts. The judge made it clear that such actions would not be tolerated in his courtroom to ensure a fair trial process. The lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs worked hard to defend him. They had a clear strategy. One part of their strategy was to question why the people were testifying. The defense suggested that the case was not really about crimes. They said it was about love, jealousy, infidelity, and money. Infidelity means not being faithful to a partner. By saying this, they tried to make the jury think that the accusers had other reasons for speaking out. They wanted the jury to doubt the stories they heard from the witnesses. Another important part of the defense strategy was to find inconsistencies. This means finding parts of a witness's story that do not match other parts or do not match what they said before. For example, with Mia, the defense lawyer pointed to the supportive messages she sent to Mr. Combs after she said he hurt her. They asked why she would do that if her story of abuse was true. By highlighting these inconsistencies, the defense hoped to make the jury believe that Mia was not telling the truth or was confused about what really happened. The defense lawyers also used legal tactics. For example, one defense attorney, Brian Steele, asked Mia if she joined the #MeToo movement to get money. The #MeToo movement is a group of people speaking out against sexual abuse. The judge stopped this question. This is called sustaining an objection. It means the judge thought the question was not fair or not relevant. Even if the question was stopped, it showed that the defense was trying to suggest that some witnesses might be looking for financial gain by making these accusations against a wealthy and famous person. The defense team also focused on the fact that some accusers continued to interact with Mr. Combs after the alleged assaults. This was true for Brianna Bongolan as well. The defense attorney Nicole Westmoreland questioned Brianna about these continued interactions. The defense argued that if someone was truly harmed or scared, they would not continue to see or speak to the person who hurt them. The defense did admit that Mr. Combs was violent at times. However, they argued that his actions did not reach the level of a racketeering conspiracy, which is a very serious organized crime charge. The prosecution team, the lawyers arguing against Mr. Combs, had their own clear plan. They focused on presenting detailed testimonies from the women who accused Mr. Combs. They wanted the jury to hear the stories directly from the people who said they were harmed. These testimonies were often very emotional and contained many specific details about what allegedly happened. The prosecutors believed that these personal accounts would be powerful and would show a pattern of abuse. They worked to guide the witnesses through their stories carefully. The prosecution also used video evidence. As mentioned, a forensic expert confirmed that some videos were real and not changed. These videos were important because they could show things that words alone could not. While the most explicit videos were not shown publicly, the evidence from them was still part of the case. The prosecution aimed to use these videos and other technical evidence, like cell phone data, to support the testimonies of the witnesses. They wanted to build a strong case with many different kinds of proof. A key part of the prosecution's argument was to establish a pattern of coercion and abuse. Coercion means forcing someone to do something they do not want to do. The prosecutors argued that Mr. Combs used his power, his money, and his influence to control people. They said he created an environment where people felt they had no choice but to do what he wanted. The stories about freak-offs and the love contract were used to show this pattern of behavior. They wanted to show this wasn't just one or two isolated incidents. The main argument from the prosecution was that Mr. Combs and people close to him formed a criminal enterprise. This is linked to the racketeering charge. They claimed this group used threats and violence. The purpose of this enterprise, according to the prosecution, was to force people to participate in freak-offs. Another purpose was to protect Mr. Combs's reputation by silencing victims or hiding evidence. The prosecution was trying to prove that Mr. Combs was not just acting alone, but was the leader of an organized effort to commit these crimes. Sean Diddy Combs faces very serious charges. The main charges are racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. He is also charged with transportation to engage in prostitution. Mr. Combs has said he is not guilty of any of these charges. He has denied all the accusations made against him. If he is convicted, meaning the jury finds him guilty, the punishment could be very severe. For sex trafficking or racketeering conspiracy, he could face up to life in prison. This means the trial has very high stakes for him. During the trial, it was revealed that several witnesses asked for immunity before they testified. Brianna Bongolan was one of them. Requesting immunity can mean that a witness might have been involved in some illegal activities themselves, even if they were also a victim. This is something the jury might consider when thinking about how believable the witnesses are. The trial also brought up Mr. Combs's political connections. It was mentioned that he has a friendship with former President Donald Trump. There was even talk that Mr. Trump might think about giving Mr. Combs a pardon if he is convicted, though this is just speculation. The trial has caused a lot of public discussion. Many people are shocked by the details they are hearing. Jamie Foxx, a well-known actor and comedian, spoke about the trial. On May 29, 2025, he was at the Comedy Store. He called Diddy a nasty care. He said he could not believe the allegations. He talked about how these stories affect the black community. Mr. Foxx specifically mentioned Cassie Ventura's testimony as being very disturbing. He also clarified that a medical problem he had in 2023 was not caused by Diddy, clearing up some rumors. As the trial continues, more witnesses are expected. The prosecution plans to call Derek Ferguson. He used to be the head of finance for Mr. Combs' companies. Another alleged victim, known as Jane Victim 2, might also testify soon. Technical witnesses will also speak about cell phone data and other evidence. The world watches as more information comes out. The testimonies are complex and emotional. The outcome of this trial will have a big impact on many lives and potentially on the entertainment industry as a whole. The date today is June 5th, 2025, and the trial is still unfolding.